a mystery. That's what shrouded Dolores O'Riordan's life until January 15th, 2018, when the world lost one of the boldest voices in rock history. She was born Dolores Mary Eileen O'Riordan on September 6, 1971, in Ballybricken, County Limerick, Ireland, the youngest of 9 children, 2 of whom died in infancy. Her father, Terence Patrick O'Riordan, worked as a farm laborer until a 1968 motorbike accident left him brain damaged and unable to work. Her mother, Eileen, became a school caterer. She told Rolling Stone in 1995, "I have a lot of secrets about my childhood." Music became her escape from darkness that would take decades to fully reveal. The audition that changed everything. At 18, she left home because she wanted to sing, while her parents wanted her to go to college. She was really poor for a year and a half, she admitted, remembering actually being hungry, like I'd die for a bag of chips. In 1990, she auditioned for a Limerick band called the Cranberries Saw Us. After they advertised for a new lead singer, she walked into that audition and sang a few songs she had written, including what would become Linger. The Hogan brothers, Mike and Noel, were blown away. "We were blown away that this small girl from Limerick had such an amazing voice," Noel Hogan recalled. The fact that she wasn't already in a band was a miracle. The band, mercifully rechristened the Cranberries, released their 1993 debut, Everybody Else Is Doing It, So Why Can't We? A title born from something Dolores said while attending a concert. The album initially struggled until June 1993, when Island Records called them off a European tour. Linger had exploded on MTV in America. They caught the first flight to New York and never looked back. Their 1994 album, No Need to Argue, made them global superstars, selling over 17 million copies. The politically charged Zombie, written about 2 children killed in a 1993 IRA bombing in Warrington, England, showcased Dolores at her most ferocious. She sang with the ghosts of her ancestors on her breath. Every note a keening wail, every cry a wild lament, shifting from delicate whispers to guttural storms as though the hills and seas themselves had lent her their voices. She had a high, airy tone that could turn ferocious without warning, decorating catchy melodies with florid vocal runs inherited from Celtic tradition. In July 1994, she married Don Burton, former tour manager of Duran Duran. They had 3 children, Taylor, Molly, and Dakota, and built a life across Ireland and Canada, but success came at brutal cost. To the Faithful Departed, 1996, Bury the Hatchet, 1999, Wake Up and Smell the Coffee, 2001. But by 2003, they needed to stop. Dolores released solo albums Are You Listening, 2007, and No Baggage, 2009, then reunited with the Cranberries in 2009. They released Roses, 2012, and were working on what would become In the End, When Everything Changed. The secrets finally revealed. In November 2013, O'Riordan disclosed that she had endured sexual abuse by a family friend between the ages of 8 and 12, describing the perpetrator entering her bedroom at night over a 4-year period. The revelation explains so much: the pain in her voice, the secrets she'd mentioned, the depression that stalked her. In 2014, she and Don Burton divorced after 20 years of marriage. In 2015, she was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, finally giving name to the manic highs and devastating lows that had defined her life. She struggled with alcohol, with prescription medication, with the weight of fame and the demons of her past. On January 14, 2018, Dolores checked into the London Hilton on Park Lane. She was in touch with room service around midnight and phoned her mother at around 3 a.m. A few hours later, a housekeeper found her submerged in the bathtub, nose and mouth beneath the water, still wearing her pajamas. An inquest at Westminster Coroner's Court on September 6, 2018, what would have been her 47th birthday, ruled that she died as a result of accidental drowning following sedation by alcohol intoxication. And her blood alcohol level was more than 4 times the legal driving limit. There was no evidence of self-harm. Dr. Shirley Radcliffe concluded, "There's no evidence that this was anything other than an accident. There was no intention. This seems to be solely a tragic accident." On January 21st, 2018, O'Riordan's funeral opened 3 days of mourning in Ireland, with O'Riordan lying in repose from January 20th to 22nd at St. Joseph's Church. Dolores was buried beside her dad, Terence, who died from cancer at the age of 68 in 2011, in the family plot at Caherally Cemetery outside of her hometown of Ballybricken, County Limerick, on January 23rd. Across every stage in the world with the Cranberries, O'Riordan sold more than 40 million albums worldwide during her lifetime. That total increased to almost 50 million albums worldwide as of 2019. But statistics can't capture what Dolores O'Riordan meant. Her voice continues to resonate in the hearts of millions who found strength in her refusal to whisper. Every survivor who speaks their truth, every artist who chooses authenticity over acceptance, they walk paths Dolores cleared. The mystery that shrouded her life lifted after her death, revealing not scandal, but courage. She was human, beautifully and tragically human, and in her humanity, she became immortal. Thank you for watching. If you believe the stories behind the legend deserve to be told, subscribe to Remember at Evergreen Token.